Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sustainable Work. I have my friend with me here today, Whitney Vosburgh. Whitney Vosburgh has a world of experience. He's lived, studied, and worked all over Asia, Europe, and America. And he brings all of this experience together in his consulting, writing, speaking, and workshops. He's the co-author of two best-selling Work the Future Today books on how to search for and share your unique gift. As an interim Fortune 20 Chief Marketing Officer, he has guided over 20 billion in wealth creation. His expertise has been featured in 4 books on the future of work, including a bestseller by Dan Pink. Whitney's work is featured in numerous media outlets such as ABC, BBC, Newsweek, Time, and the Wall Street Journal. And his next book, Work the Future Today, Survive Today, Thrive Tomorrow, is coming out in fall 2021, which is very exciting. Welcome, Whitney.
Thank you.
Have you here?
Lovely to be here with you, Maria.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you currently do in your work?
At this moment, I am redefining my future
Okay.
in terms of my place. The Work the Future Today books is about 3 things. It is about your purpose, your place, and your practice. So it's your why, your where, and with whom, and then your how and your what and your when. So you can think of it as your head, your heart, and your hands. Why, who and where, and how.
Okay. And so is this the framework that you work with, that you use to work with your clients?
Yes, for my own life and family, as well as for my clients and the communities I am part of. It's all about what is our why? What is our unique gift that we're here to share with ourselves and others that they may receive, benefit, and value from? Where will I find them? Who are they? And then, going from head to heart, you have to give, to share, to be of service by giving our unique gift that we are here to share with others.
That's beautiful. So if you don't mind sharing, what is your why? What's your
My why is to invite others to find and follow their own lead, to have a purpose path, a North Star, so that no matter where you are, no matter where you've been or where you might be going, you know that relative to all things in your life and around you and inside you, you are here. You came from here. You could and should go there. Working backwards, what are the steps I need to take in order to go to where I need to go?
How did you find it? How did you find your purpose?
Through trial and error. And that means a lot of trial and many errors. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I didn't listen to my intuition, my internal voice. Got me into a lot of trouble. Fortunately, I was able to learn from that. And then when I turned 37, I had a number of life changes that enabled me to make the connection from my head to my heart to what I call my hearth, my gut, my source of wisdom and intuition, higher intelligence. So you have IQ, EQ, and then what I call GQ, your gut intelligence.
Oh, the GQ, yes, I totally love it. So what did you used to listen to before you turned 37?
I listened to my ego far too much, and I didn't listen to the yearnings of my soul. Deep down, this was quietly but persistently trying to speak to me, to that which I am far beyond my ego.
I'm curious, what did your ego used to tell you? Do you have any specific examples you could share?
Of course, it's I am being ignored, abused, not being respected, valued, whatever. We all have egos. This,
Totally.
it's a universal condition, and our egos can serve us well if we are in healthy relationship to it, by knowing that we are so much greater and so much more than what our egos think they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to serve us. We're not here to serve it.
Yeah. What, like looking back, what actions um, did your ego drive? Like, what did you do back then
Well,
since that event at 37 happened, you don't do anymore or try not to do?
well, it's not that the ego goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Ego is a very strong, persistent creature of habit. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not that I made things go away. I just, over a long period of time, turned the volume down
Mm-hmm.
on the ego
Mm-hmm.
uh, and its maniacal quest for me,
Mm-hmm.
and turn up the volume on us. You know, so it's to go from anger and fear to love and acceptance.
Mm-hmm. So what allowed you to make that shift? You know, you mentioned that there was this nagging voice inside of you where your soul was telling you that there is something else to do, right? Something
Right.
you desired. How did you learn to listen to that? What happened?
But I had a pivotal awakening, age 37, and I made significant changes in my life. I left a marriage that wasn't working. I decided to leave New York, where I had lived for 16 years, moved to the West Coast, where I still am, shift to my career, re-embrace my artistic practice,
Hmm. Okay.
um, open myself up to many things that are well known on the West Coast, such as yoga, meditation, spending more time outdoors, hiking, a vastly expanded artistic expression and practice, going to divinity school,
Mm-hmm.
uh, giving voice to the yearnings of my soul, and that which I have learned in terms of my higher intelligences, in terms of writing books, creating new art forms, and continuing to live the life that only I uniquely can
Mm-hmm.
live.
Mm-hmm.
My eldest daughter paid me a supreme compliment a number of years ago. She said, "Dad, you know how to live life, and I want to live my life like yours." Not that she wanted to copy me, but she was inspired to look for, find, and follow her own unique life path of purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I wonder how, so you talk about ego, you talk about uniqueness. Where's the difference in those
Well,
two?
we are all unique,
Mm-hmm.
which means we're all the same,
Mm-hmm.
and simultaneously, we're all different.
And all equally important.
All equally important. We all have our unique gift to share with the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So 37, right? Your work, whichever work you did before that versus the work that you did after, what place did it take in your life before and what place does it take in your life after?
I have always been a project oriented person,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's work, play, leisure, everything has a distinct beginning, middle, and end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful metaphor for life.
Yeah.
So the longest job I ever had was 13 months, and that was on a bet that I couldn't last more than a year. So 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day, I went to the office, said I quit. And my wife at the time was just flabbergasted, like, wow, you really did it. I didn't think you could do it. I said, yes, I can do it. I just choose not to do it.
Yes. Why?
And because 90% of people are in the wrong job, doing the wrong work, with the wrong supervisors, the wrong team, the wrong organization,
Mm-hmm.
creating negative impact, not positive impact, not following their bliss, not being purposeful. We talked about this before. You
Yeah.
have personal purpose, you have organizational purpose. And the greater the overlap, the greater the fit. The less overlap, the lesser the fit. No overlap, no fit.
Mm-hmm. So would you say the jobs that you had before, was there overlap? Was there not enough overlap?
No, they were just a paycheck
It was just paycheck.
and grist for my mill. In other words, it provided me with experiences that were self-defining. No, this is not for me. No, this is not for me.
Mm.
And you, if you accumulate enough of that, then you can kind of go, oh, okay, that is not for me. Working for other people is not for me.
Yes.
I
Okay.
am too much of an individualistic person uh, with a very strong sense of uh, uh, what works for me and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as an angry young man, a rebel without a cause, it was easy to define what I was against.
Yes.
But at 37, I asked myself the question, what are you for?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big change in my life.
Mm-hmm. What are
It's
you?
like, okay, so why are you here? What are you for? What do you stand for? What do you value?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to be against things.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know in life, it's so much harder to create something than to destroy something.
Mm-hmm.
So, being against stuff, I was like, yeah, okay, so I'm against all these things, but what am I here for? Because if you're holding on to things because you're rigid and you're against them, you cannot embrace the new if you're holding on to the old. You either hold on or you open yourself up so you can embrace new possibilities. So it's either or. You're either closed or you're open. You can't be half and half. It
Yeah,
doesn't work that way.
I hear you. Okay. So I have so many questions, but to start with, so you started asking yourself question, what am I for? And I mean, you already described your purpose, but is there anything outside of that you stand for? Or value?
Yes, very much so. Life is a gift,
Mm-hmm.
which is why today is called the present.
Mm-hmm.
We all have unique potentials, promises, purpose, passions, professions, paths, powers. The more we look inside and connect with our inner divine selves, we are a mere speck of dust. But this is the stuff of the universe. The universe is a phenomenal, beautiful experience in existence. So we are as well.
Yes.
Who are we not to shine?
It's interesting. It's interesting, it reminds me of Marianne Williamson's poem, and So I'll come back to this later, but speaking of the unique gift, how do you help your people you work with to find their unique gift? Like what's the process?
What I learned at the divinity school is a true leader, and a
Mhm,
leader is somebody who finds and follows their own lead so
mhm,
that others can choose to follow as well.
mhm.
So it's not about other people, it's about self.
Right.
So a true leader meets people where they are and treats them as if they have arrived at where they wish to be. So by recognizing the potential in somebody
Mhm,
and treating them as if they have realized that potential, you are inviting them to step into their greatness.
mhm. Okay, so it sounds like to me it's almost like the process of allowing another person to um, like see that within themselves, right? See that gift and nourish it themselves by just serving as a mirror that this is how I see you.
Yes. Most mirrors in the world are cracked.
Mm-hmm.
So we get fractured images of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When we have a better mirror, we get better self images.
God, I can totally relate to that. Because it's like now that you walked me through the process, I reflect on how one of my coaches treated me. I'm like, this is exactly what she did.
And you know, coaching, um, therapeutic relationships, it's all about transference,
Mm-hmm.
powerful, positive, loving transference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I the male, you the female. There is a transference going on right now, and it can be positive or negative. It just depends.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's positive, then it can be incredibly powerful to invite growth.
That's amazing. It makes me think. So I was interviewing one of the speakers, and she is a researcher, and she was talking about these two theories in psychology, right? Theory X versus theory Y, which states that one of them states that people are inherently lazy and they must be controlled. And the other one is that people are inherently motivated to contribute.
Yes.
And it sounds like to me what you're saying, it's kind of like depends on the observer, depends on the mirror. If as a mirror I'm showing you that you're capable, then you are. Like you can feel that power within yourself.
Only if you're open to feeling it.
Okay. What makes people like open to be open to it versus not?
It works on so many different levels. If you have, depends whether you're an optimist or a pessimist.
Mm-hmm.
Depends whether you are courageous, that you are propelled by love more than you are held back by fear. So you're more open than not. You're more loving than fearful. You have been able to overcome, rise above, and even use whatever negative, traumatic, so on experiences in your childhood, growing up, adulthood, to be able to say, yes, I choose to be what my potential is. I choose to move towards the light of possibility, of fulfilling my potential, of sharing my promise,
Okay.
as
Yeah,
opposed to saying no.
sounds like life experiences influence it, right? And the some personality characteristics. Um,
And it's having a connection with our true selves. We're all one.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in the universe is energy. We're either higher or lower vibrations of energy. And what Buddhism has known for thousands of years, science has slowly catching up now to confirm what the Buddhists have known for centuries and millennia, is that everything is an illusion because everything is energy. It's about light, energy, vibrations, higher and lower. And so that we are all part of the universe. We are all one. And where human beings have gone so off track is that it's not about me, it's not about we, it's about us, because we are all one.
Mm-hmm.
Dualistic thinking has gotten to us a lot of trouble because, there's us and them. It's like, or me and we against them, and the
Bad.
and the itification of the world and through otherism, and not remembering that we are relational creatures. We relate to one another. We're social. Without interrelation, without social bonds, we are nothing.
Mm-hmm. And from I think my experience and from what you have described, the thing that separates is the ego, right?
Yes. Is the ego serving our higher being and needs, or are we in service to our ego, which doesn't really exist beyond the confines of our cranium?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always
Right.
searching for threats because the ego wants to survive. But ego is not real. It is a human construct.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful. It has gotten to us where we are, but it is now holding us back.
I understand that.
So the importance of mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
positive, life affirming mindfulness, going beyond the head, the ego, to our heart, from intellectual intelligence to emotional intelligence to the highest form of intelligence, our inner wisdom, our intuition.
So tell me, if I came to you, if I was your client and I said, Whitney, help me, I want to find my unique gift. So how would you work with me?
Well, I would ask you, what brings you joy?
Mm.
What peak experiences have you had in the past? What are the highlights of your life?
Mm-hmm.
What do you enjoy most? Make a list of everything you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Work, non-work, volunteer, family, friendship, sports, everything. And then look for the commonality, the common thread that runs throughout it. There will be a theme. You'll find the thread and then you pull it tight, and there you have it.
God, I love it so much. Because I also noticed there's this perception living in the world that work has to be hard or work has to be unpleasant. So
No,
what you're describing, I love it.
I believe that everyone can and are entitled to what I call play pay. You get paid for what you like to do. And you like it so much, you don't even need to get paid to do it. That's why it's called play pay.
Yes.
Play pay every day.
I totally love it. Just hearing you say that brings me joy.
We are here to play. Play is very serious stuff because it informs everything we do. Because it takes us into the zone where we leave judgment and caution and worry and criticism behind. We are doing what we love to do. We're in the moment, we're in the zone, in the flow. We are doing what we enjoy. Time becomes suspended, judgment becomes suspended. We are just here at one with ourselves and the universe, enjoying whatever we're doing. That makes a large part of what our unique gift is. And the question is, what is it? And how do I create a form of self-expression to then put it out in the world so that it can be found, received, benefited from, and valued? It's not just that we have a gift. It's like, oh, this is my gift. Well, that's great. But if nobody knows about it or can't find it or can't access it or doesn't value it, what use is it? It's just a promise. Mm-hmm. This is not about promise. This is about fulfilling your promise through active being, sharing, giving, and making available your unique gift and all that comes with it.
And so is that something that you also help your clients do? So first identify what their gift is, but also then create a plan on with more details as this is how it's going to show up in the world.
I'm often hired to help senior leaders who either own and or control, run, manage, lead an organization. Mm-hmm. They've often started it or have significant equity in it, or their ego is tied up in it, or something like that. So there's a relationship there. Mm-hmm. It's not just a job. It's much more than that. So I take a look and say, do you have a business plan? If you don't, okay, we'll address that. If you do, great. We'll take a look at that and make it even better. Question is, do you have a life plan? They look at me, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, you are the X, Y, and Z of this organization. The point of this organization on a personal level is to help you fulfill your life plan. This is how you are expressing yourself, because you are typically a businessman, a businesswoman. This is the business you're in. You don't want to be busy. You want to be fulfilling your unique gift and destiny. So what is your life purpose? If you don't have a life plan, because I almost never do, so let's take a look at your life, your purpose, your path, create a life plan, and then have that drive the business plan. And then, so if you are finding and following your lead, you will be a better leader, because it'll be clear that you came from here, this is where you are, this is where you're going, working backwards. These are the steps you're going to be taking along with your team and your organization. So the clearer your leadership path and projection is, the clearer it is to everyone else. So they're going, yes. And you hope that by knowing what your life purpose is and what the organizational purpose is, there's a significant overlap. There isn't, you're in the wrong organization. If there is, great. So that is even better for the work organization, everyone that it does business with, and all the communities whose lives it touches. Mm-hmm. Powerful stuff.
Totally.
So I always try to help the individual first and then the organization.
Okay, 2 questions on that. One, can you tell me a little bit more about the life plan? What is a life plan?
A life plan is, how do you find and follow your life path, personally and professionally, to share your unique gift, so that you may create positive change opportunity for your individual, collective, and universal betterment.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to leave the world a better place than you found it?
Okay. And does that, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So does the life plan also include, you said, I think personally and professionally. So it also includes like the way you show up in your community, the way you show up in your family, and
Yes,
like that.
it's the three places: work, home, and community. It
Mhm.
used to be church, but especially with COVID, it's becoming more and more about your community, of which your church or your faith tradition or your spiritual practice is part of. So it's it's the workplace, the home, and then the third place, which is where work and home play together.
Mhm.
Because we're moving into a hybrid where it's no longer about headquarters or solely working at home. There will be a third place where people will come together locally, run by and for the community, where you can work, socialize, get your health needs, do your financials, local government, socialize, learn. So you're going to have these hybrid community hubs.
Interesting. Okay. So my understanding is you're helping people understand what their purpose is, right? And then help them understand what would it mean for them, or how would it feel, or what would it mean for them to show up carrying that unique purpose in all of these places in their lives.
I don't really help people.
Mhm.
I just invite them to help themselves.
Okay, you hold the place for them.
I hold a place for them. I guide them.
Mhm.
It's really about inviting people to look deep inside themselves, to their true selves, where all the answers are, and always have been, always will be. We just have to shut up, turn off the
Here.
chattering monkeys up here, so that we can listen to the yearnings of our inner true self, our source of our wisdom, our intuition, our highest intelligence, our connection to the world, to the universe, to all life.
And you know, my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, then when if you're working with a person, when they're able to tap into that intelligence in terms of the place they're leading from, if they're the leader of the organization, they're also able to use that place and that intelligence to guide others into following them.
Yes, it's being in the flow, but but it's not just leaders who are by their leadership position or who are appointed to that position. There are also people who are self-anointed leaders. They are people who are looked to in the organizations, not necessarily have the highest titles or ranking or seniority, but they're looked to as the go-to people for being the leader in this or that.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, somebody with a deep domain expertise, being an expert in something, or just widely trusted as having superb organizational knowledge and experience, wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
The true leaders that can be found in any position.
Yeah, I totally believe that and know that to be true. What makes me curious to find out, let's say, right, you're working with a person and they're not an entrepreneur, they're an employee, and you help them find their unique purpose. How do they then go about finding an organization that fits,
Well,
that
it
have an
depends.
overlap?
Well, the clearer you are on the idea of what my purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
and the clearer the idea of what and picture of what that organizational purpose is, the clearer you are, the whole point of having a North Star, a true sense of omni-situational, in other words, anywhere, anytime, under any circumstances, you know what your purpose is, you know where you came from, you know where you're going, you know where you are now. is that it acts as a lightning fast gut felt filter. It's like, is this for me or is this not? Is there a good match or is there not?
So it's not coming from here, right? It's
No, it's here.
okay.
You know it. You feel it. You sense it. Uh, it's embodied wisdom. You have to remember that we have brain cells here, here, and here, head, heart, and gut. And we have billions of organisms living within us that it becomes part, that is part of our collective wisdom and intelligence. We are not alone internally, let alone externally. We are just part of a huge continuum of life forms that are mutually dependent. Mm-hmm. We are not who we think we are.
Okay, so tell me more about the gut intelligence. What is it and how do you connect to it?
Well, we have brain cells in our gut. Mm-hmm. Just when somebody says, yeah, my heart really feels that, or that feels good to my gut. It's true. Your stomach-based intelligence is telling you something. Your heart can tell you something, and your brain can tell you something, because there's brain cells in all three. Mm-hmm. It's part of a continuum. It's not this or that. It's and. It's a continuum. There's no beginning, there's no end.
Yeah, and it sounds like to me, it's in terms of like duality thinking, it's like this or this. It's just like your physical, in your gut, moment to moment response to the environment and being connected to that.
More work that you do to integrate all three intelligences, and the more you think of yourself as a relatively barrierless part of the continuum of life in the universe, that it's not about me or we, it's us, all of us, all things, all being, all existence is all one. The closer you move towards that, the closer you move to the truth with a capital T.
Okay. So I want to come back for a second to purpose, place, and practice.
Yes.
So we talked about purpose. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the other two.
All right. In martial arts, let's say in Japan, you go to a place called a dojo. It's a special, spiritually infused and dedicated space for the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical practice in community of martial arts. Now, it's not just martial, it's arts. It's an art form of self-expression, of becoming better together. You come here to practice, to access and elevate your higher self. So our unique promise and purpose is our mojo. So you can think of a dojo in terms of purpose as a mojo dojo. It's a place where you come together. The place is where you fulfill and share your promise in the right place with the right people at the right time.
Okay.
So it's about community. You cannot have community without unity. Okay. And if there's unity, there's an inclusivity. You are opening your hands and you are open to being better together, not having more for me. It's about.
So is it kind of like, okay, this is my unique purpose, and where is this needed right now? And
Yes,
I go there.
you have to find it's like having a plug and an electrical outlet. You have to find the right fit so
Yes.
that you can make and maintain a powerful connection. If they don't fit, there's no connection. So you have to find the right connection in the right place that works in the right way so that you can have flow, so that you have giving, receiving, exchange. And, giving is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the place. And then practice.
Practice is, how do you do that? Once you know what your purpose is, your gift, where do you share it with whom? Then it's all the details. How do you share it? How exactly? When? In what way? Execution.
Okay. So an action plan.
Well, that's your life path.
Right.
It's all three parts. It's who, why, who and where, and then how and what and when.
Okay.
It's the three legs of the journey.
Okay. So in the summer, to summarize, for the audience, if they were to take away 2 or 3 strategies from all of the things they discussed today to identify their gift, what would they be?
You are not who you think you are.
Remember that.
Look deep inside. Embrace your inner child.
Oh,
And play.
play. Yes, I love it.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. I think this is awesome. I also want you to tell us a little bit about your book that's coming out in fall of this year.
Yes, Work the Future Today, Survive Now, Thrive Later. So many of us are experiencing many challenges in this moment of unprecedented change. Change equals opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you have half full or half empty, I say it's half full at the very least. So that COVID is not the change, it's just an accelerator, a massive accelerator. So things are happening 10 to 40 times faster than it was before. So all these things were happening already. Is to now say, yes, change is faster, it's getting more impactful, it's getting more complex. We have multiple challenges, hence opportunities around the world, around us, inside us. Now we can take care of ourselves, to slow down, to start listening to our true selves, to look for moments of joy, of play. Start a play date with yourself 1 hour a week, and then make it 2 hours, and then make it 3 hours. So that you start developing that sort of memory muscle of having fun, of connecting with your inner child, so that you increase your sense of joy, of flow, of achievement, of being creative, of tapping into your true self, so that over time, you'll have such a strong muscle there, plus developing a technique to use it in the right way, so that you overcome all the challenges of the moment, so that you can thrive tomorrow. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. But you have to have a path, a plan in order to do that.
Okay. So just a little personal question. What do you do to train your joy muscle? Like, what are some of your inner child activities that bring you joy?
I like playing with my hands. It doesn't matter what. I like to paint, photograph, collage, calligraphy, jewelry, glass, ceramics, wood, anything like garden. I just love playing with my hands. I love creating. I love asking, what if I do this? I love turning this into that. Curiosity is an incredibly powerful and important and valuable life skill. I
Okay.
like to play.
You like to write?
I like to write. Yes, I like any form of self-expression where I particularly like doing new things that challenge me. It's always looking for new growth opportunities, new ways of having fun, of playing, of growing, of being challenged, of finding joy in the moment,
Totally. Yes. Okay.
and to every once in a while turning my life upside down and making myself open to massive, new, exciting challenges and opportunities.
I love your mindset. Totally love it. Okay, well, thank you. If people wanted to find you, how could they do that?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I also have a website for the books, workthefuture.today.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you. I look forward to reading the book whenever it comes out. And yeah, thank you, Whitney. I think I've had a lot of fun today. I'm sure the audience will too. And for everyone else, we'll see you tomorrow at Sustainable Work.
And thank you for reaching out, Maria.
Yes, thank you.